let's get into some stats. What you got for them, baby?
I don't know if these stats are true. I just put in Google and saw the first thing that did pop up when I put in how many fathers are absent. The first thing that did pop up was more than 20 million children live in a home without the physical presence of a father. And says millions more have dads who are physically present but emotionally absent.
I feel like that may be a big issue because even for me, the emotional thing, be emotionally mature enough to be able to convey certain things to your children is a disconnect. Most men don't want to tap into their emotions because they see emotions as a feminine trait.
Oh, yes. I was saying, oh, yes, because I had just read that. And so, not that I know exactly, because I'm not a man. But
and that is that's a good point. You're not a man. So there's certain things that you cannot do for a boy growing up. Mm-hmm. He needs a man to show him how to operate, because there's only certain things that a woman can do. And I can attest to this personally because I remember vividly in the 6th grade, before 6th grade, like the all the way up to the 6th grade, I had structure, I had discipline, I had all of these things. But then my daddy got stationed in Afghanistan. And coming from a military family, once I realized that my father was no longer in the household, I went buck wild. I went from being a law-abiding citizen to just doing any and everything that I felt I wanted to do. And that led me into being suspended from school. Like being in-house suspension was like a normal thing for me. Me and the principal were on first name basis because I was always into something. And once I realized that my daddy wasn't coming back, things just got worse. I got into the streets. I got into all kind of stuff. I'm not gonna get into the specifics, but I was a terrible person from that point on. And I feel like that is what is contributing to a lot of the stuff that's going on with young men today. That's why we have so many young men shooting each other, robbing each other, running in people's houses and all of this. There's a lack of discipline. There's a lack of responsibility because for me, I knew there was only so much my mother can do to me. And once I realized that her beatings wasn't effective, or when she did whoop me, I could just eat that because it's a woman. And once I get into my teenage years, it's almost like you're physically an adult and you can take certain pains, but there was nothing my mama could do to change how I was acting because she was a woman. I mean, just plain and simple. I was not scared of her. Now, I did have a certain amount of respect for her, but at the same time, when my daddy was in the household, my first mind before I did something is my daddy. Mm-hmm. What are you gonna do to me? Mm-hmm. And like I said, once I realized he wasn't coming back, once I realized that, it was, man, forget this. I'm gonna do what I wanna do when I wanna do it. And like I said, that's what's going on with children these days. We wanna associate the crime within the community, the black on black crime. We want to say that it's because of poverty or it's because of slavery, generational stuff. But I feel like there's no, first off, we don't associate our behavior with consequences. Mm-hmm. And men are the ones that enforce consequences. They let you know what can happen to you if you continue on this path. And it coming from a woman, it just don't hit as hard. And I mean, it is what it is.
I think it's different for boys and girls and how they grow up. Mm-hmm. I was reading a book, and then I also watched a movie with his name, not a movie, it was a documentary. It was like a little series by Jawanza Kunjufu. And he wrote Countering the Conspiracy.
Kunjufu?
Countering the Conspiracy to Destroy Black Boys. And I read the second volume because I don't have the first volume. But in it, he talks about that mothers raise their daughters, but they love their sons.
So there's certain things they won't do to, they're more inclined to discipline their daughter than they are their son. And that's why we need the man in the household, because the man will take it upon himself. Like, all right, say for me, I don't really discipline. I wouldn't say I'm not physical with Isabella and Ava.
Right.
Because I know I'm a man. So even if I try to do it modestly, it can get out of hand. So it's important for a father to get this, to have this right here. That dead face look. And that's what my daddy had with me before he left. Mm-hmm. And women can't. Now, there are some women who will give you a dead face and then you'll be like, oh, just switch up your whole stuff. But I think men just have that authority that women don't have over their children.
Well, women have authority. We just give up after a while. Like I told you, but you keep doing it. Like whatever. I don't. And so we do need that backup, right? That backup of men to come in and say, hey, you heard your mama. You and I think that was the reinforcement that my mama had got from my daddy. If she, because I do
the same thing,
right? I think when she told him, it was it might have been I heard what you did, and you get right, like all that. But and in the book it was saying how that mothers teach their daughters to cook and clean and wash their clothes and know how to do all of these. You make good grades and you need to do this. But when it comes to their sons, that mothers are just say, hey, you go play. I got this. You don't need to learn how to wash your clothes. You don't need to know how to feed yourself. Like, and those are things that need to be done.
They're almost hindering them in life.
Right. And so the point that he's a Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu was trying to make is that when there are men in the household and you do have sons and daughters, that both need to be contributing, that the dad needs to be seen washing the dishes. Mm-hmm. The dad needs to be seen sweeping. The dad needs to be seen washing clothes.
And even deeper than that, reading the Bible.
Reading the Bible, showing we were just me and you and I, whatever. TY. We were just having a discussion about how we in the Black society, community, culture, we see that a lot of Black women are praying women. They read their Bibles, they go to church, and that was a point that he made also. When Black women will take their daughters to church, but not their sons. Mm-hmm. And my point, what I was making with you was, well, if men stepped up, and in this case, Black men stepped up and actually read their Bible, opened up their Bible, and prayed with their children, and not the mama doing it. Not saying mama doesn't need to do it, because mama needs to do it too. But if you are the head of the household, these are the things that we should be doing. And then when we were talking, we talked about how Eve knocked that all out of order. Yeah, we are out of order. When we look at households, and once upon a time, this was our household, and I'm still trying to get our household in order. It was me, Brandon, and then the girls, because I was, hey, this is what we're gonna do, and we're gonna do it like this, and this is where, and it was working, but it wasn't natural, right? Mm-hmm. And so the whole point of fathers being in is to lead this
lead the family,
the natural, and
I mean, that's just my opinion on it. But I think if men really got into the word and really learned the word and really were like convicted and saying, I need God to run my household. Yeah. I'm going to pray over every little thing. I'll give all the stress that I have on my shoulders to God. And I think that would take the stigma away of also with strong Black women. Black women have to be strong. You know, Black men carry, if you not even Black men, men carry whatever weight. Shoot, I wouldn't even say carry whatever weight the woman has, because I don't want that on your shoulders either.
But
it's more natural for a man to carry that weight. Yeah. If you're in a relationship of God, then the weight should be on the man.
Yeah, and then you give that weight to God.
Exactly. He should. It should be a trickle up. The kids put the weight on the wife. Mm-hmm. The wife put the weight on the man. The man put the weight on the God.
And it's hard. I will always say that is
because we're so stuck on handling things on our own.
Yes. When it should be a partnership. And I think that's what is lost in the Black community today. We have so many
distractions.
There are so many distractions, and there's so many of us doing the same thing, right? We're in the same environment. Mm-hmm. We're doing the same thing. And we won't come together. We won't come together women won't come together with men because, oh, you're trying to be over me, or you're trying to rule whatever.
You're trying to have authority over me. I'm supposed to.
Right. Yeah. And men won't work with women because of that sentiment of what we are giving off or what we're saying. No, I don't want your help. Yeah. I can do bad all by myself.
Men are almost like, man, I don't even want to deal with it.
Right. And so then he was saying, Dr. Jawanza was saying that leads to when men, in this case, when Black men start to date outside of their races and all of that. And I was because like, that's so interesting.
I don't want to blame it on Black women, but most other women understand the natural order according to the word.
But we're not taught the natural order.
This is true.
We're not taught the natural order. So if somebody is in your life and giving you, hey, you don't need this man in your household. You raise these children, and I'm gonna give you this money. You go buy whatever it is that you want. But here's the deal. And if you watch one of my favorite movies, Claudine with Diane Carroll and what's Simba's daddy? James Earl Jones. Yeah. I need that movie. I love that movie so much. But her whole thing was she had a whole bunch of kids. She had some kids.
A whole heap of them.
She had some kids. And she was on welfare. And the white woman would come in and check and everything. You don't have a man living in here, do you? And all of this. Yeah. And so when she started dating James Earl Jones, he was like, I want to be with you.
She didn't want to give it up because of...
Yes, she did. But she did. She was willing, but he was like scared. He's like, if I take this on, that's like, some responsibility. Yeah. But the point of that whole thing was he stood up, he had left, and then he came back because he realized it's more important for me to be with her and help her with these children, love her, than to leave her with the government saying, hey, you take this, but you can't have any man in your house. Yeah. And when I see that you have a man in your house, I'm going to take this away from you. I'm going to take this away from you. And that's like, how long have we been living like that? How long have we been living without men?
Since the beginning of child support?
How long have we been living without men in our household? And I look and I was like, God has had favor upon my life from my childhood into my adulthood. I had my dad, I had my brothers, and my mama and my sister. I had them.
You had influence from both sides.
From both sides.
And we need that. That's why it's important for us to work together.
And so now I'm in a situation where I have the same
family,
the same setup. And here's my opportunity to do things differently and to shut up, because I am quick to be like, although they are girls, I am quick to kind of protect them from Brandon's wrath a little bit, because I'm like, they're just little girls.
And that's why that's one of the main reasons why, and I know you're not supposed to do this anyway, I do not get physical with my daughters.
Yeah.
Like at one point I would spank them, but it just don't feel right. Like I should be able to, like I said, just give a look or say some things, and I should get the results that I'm looking for. Like even when they come at you sideways, it's just like, come on, bro. Are you serious? And then they straighten up.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a constant process, and your children will get bold after a while. That's why it's important to stay on them. And another thing I'm gonna say is this. children aren't as dumb as you think they are. If the man and the wife, or if the husband and the wife are not on the same page, children will peep that.
You want to take this? You want
and
to tell a story?
they will play you against each other.